Yes, ladies and gentlemen, just as we committed today, today we will be going live for the US election with an aim of making people understand what is happening globally, maybe the reactions of people. And one thing which I can confirm is that people are hopeful. People believe that the right person will be elected, and there is a lot of enthusiasm from both the directions where we are seeing both the Democrats and the Republicans very serious and going and looking for votes wherever they are. From the reports which I'm getting so far, I'm hearing rural America. Yeah, there is a lot of enthusiasm from the rural America. So American election is going to be good. We know it is very competitive, and there is so much which is going to happen right now. I think the results which have been streamed so far, we have the ones for the New Hampshire, that station which is usually the first to vote in the country, where both the candidates got three votes. So those are the votes which are coming out. But we are going to have a long night. I know in Kenya it is the eve, is the night where they are also waiting for results. So there is a lot to expect from this American election today. So what I would say is that expectations cannot cease, and we will keep on understanding and knowing what are what are the issues that the voters are looking for, because that one is very important. Which are the issues which the voters are looking for? Yeah. So I think from the talks which I've been talking with the people, this election is high stake, high voltage, and there is too much to expect. Many people are voting as if their life depends on it. Democrats feel their life depends on this. Republicans feel their life depends on this. So there is a lot which is happening in this American state, and I believe the voter turnout is going to become one of the most serious one. So in terms of voter turnout, I think we are going to get a serious voter turnout today. Many media houses are saying Eastern Coast, the Eastern Coast states will be the first to announce the votes, and there is good hope. Like in Georgia, Georgia could be the first to report their votes 2 hours after the election. So we are going to expect a million of votes spilling from Georgia. We know that Georgia is a very competitive state. The difference could be very small. The exit poll are showing Donald Trump has a slight edge there. So Georgia could return to be very good for Donald Trump, and some other states there will also turn to be good. So even Kamala Harris is competitive in her own nature. As a new person, as an entrant, I think she was able to inherit the Democratic Party very well, and we will see how she is going to perform tonight. So I think tonight is going to be a very hopeful night for her also. But I know it's an experience, and I think if she loses the election, she can also return in 2028 because she still has time. I think she's 60 years old. So in 2028, she can come with around 64 years if she thinks it's good. Jane Mudhoni, karibu sana. You are saying you are tuned from Nairobi. Asante sana. Here we are just trying to talk to people about the US election, and we are trying to advise to explain what is happening now. You know, the beauty of US election is that people vote on issues. They vote on their life. The church person is going there to vote for the church. Uh, there is somebody who is a church person, somebody who loves God, who he only goes to vote because he knows there is a candidate who has his own beliefs. There is a somebody who supports this postmodern life, the issues of LGBT. So there is somebody who will go to the election because he believes his candidate is a bit good on LGBTQ issue. There is also another person who will go to the election because he knows this person will do well on economy. So American election is a issues thing. So thank you, Jen. Keep listening. I hope you are enjoying. So American election will teach us something. American election will teach us something tonight. It is very high voltage now. Whichever the party is going to lose is going to be very, very painful for them. Very, very painful for them. But one thing which I can confirm is that Donald Trump is performing better than 2020. So one thing which we need to expect, even if we don't have the results, is that Donald Trump will do better than 2020 in this year election. Why? Because he has gained more bigger endorsements. Donald Trump was endorsed by Elon Musk with a big force. There are some Democrats who are also big forces who decided to support Donald Trump this time around. Thank you, Jane. There is a woman called Tulsi Gabbard. She used to be a woman from Hawaii. She is now supporting Donald Trump. There is a JKF Jr. That is the son of Bobby Kennedy, the one who was shot in 1988. He is now on. He was a Democrat. He became independent and then finally supported Donald Trump. So those are the shifts. That one doesn't mean that we also don't have Democrats who have received, or that one doesn't mean that Democrats have not also received support from some Republicans. Like there is a woman called Liz Cheney from Wyoming. But when you compare gains and losses, you look at pivotal issues. To me, I will consider the three people as very pivotal as compared to some of the Republicans who closed over. Then another thing, the biggest talk show host in America is called Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is not regular in doing election endorsement. Joe Rogan is an American podcast who has the biggest subscriptions in top 10. And Joe Rogan, who has close to 200 million subscriptions, he endorsed Donald Trump yesterday. So that is also another thing which is a key. We know celebrities and key people in America, they do endorsement. We do not disagree with that. But this endorsement, they're usually very key. So what will happen is that tonight is going to be a very serious showdown. Very, very serious showdown. Uh, the media has been telling us that the election is close. We don't know about that. That is something like, to me, if I was asked about to say what is happening in the US election this year, I will say that it is unknown. There is a factor unknown which is very huge there. You cannot ascertain how the results will come because there are so many variables. There are so many variables. Even the media cannot claim they know what will happen tonight. The media cannot claim they know. Why? Because number one, any poll, exit polls, exit polls are the polls which are taken before the election is done. So any poll which is showing, I want to show people how the recent American polls have been happening. In America, Donald Trump, because of the way he has been verified by the media, some people do not come out and they say that I support this man, so they just hide. But or when you ask them, they can even tell you, yeah, we are supporting that candidate. So like they hide their call. So when you hear that there is a poll which is trying to say Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are neck to neck, that's a very worrying poll. It is. You need to know that it has an error of close to 7% based on the two previous elections and what we saw. So if in Pennsylvania we have a tie, then there is likelihood Donald Trump is going to win Pennsylvania. Remember, in the US, you don't need to win all the states. You just focus on the swing states. Swing states are the ones which they are very diverse. That's why they are called swing states. They have black, they have whites, they have Islams, they have Christians, they have Hindus, they have gays, they have straight people. Like they have everything. That's why they are called. They are like a supermarket of ideas. They are they are not one-sided states. They are not like California. California is a liberal state most of the time. They are not like North Dakota, which is conservative state. They are not like Missouri, which is a conservative state. So a conservative state is a one-issue state. Uh, a liberal state is a one-issue state. But a state like Pennsylvania is a multi-issue state. Hmm? So it's a tug war between issues. And the issues which will win, they just win you the election. So another thing which is also playing into the into the court of Donald Trump is his experience and the capacity to campaign as a person. For those people who are following this election, you could see that Donald Trump was everywhere. Like yesterday night, he did 4 rallies. He is a bit hardworking. I always hear like some people asking, what can Donald Trump be attributed to what he did in America? There is nothing tangible which he did. And I think sometimes we get to lose. Now we are having two people who have a stake in any administration, whether now or for the past. Kamala Harris has stakes for this administration. So any problems with this administration, she has to inherit because she's number two, then she cannot distance herself with what is happening now. And many polls have been polling people, are you happy now? And that question has not been answered very well. Again, these people are very bad negativity influence. So, in other words, what I'm trying to say is it's simple. Uh, during Donald Trump, there are some very serious policies he was able to bulldoze, and actually they helped people. Like there were some black issues he solved. There was the Abraham Accord, which was very good for Middle East peace, and that's why you are seeing like the Arabs in Rust Belt, that is Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Uh, some endorsed him. I'm not saying all of them endorsed him. Some endorsed him. So there is that shift. So, and I don't think some of these media issues, people say that Donald Trump is a racist. I tend to disagree with that statement. I thought issues of racism, you need to prove them. Yeah, so that's why sometimes even when we are verifying people, I always like to understand, like, yes, we are saying somebody is racist. You need you need extreme. I don't think this person could be supported by this million of people, and that is his character. Sometimes, mm, good, there is a better favored. You think here to support young YouTuber like me, taking keen interest on real talk too. Good, better, karibu sana. So I'm just trying to give a slight discussion on how I understand these people, especially who are vying, because in future, even in Africa, we should be able to put, and that's the reason why, by the way, we are trying to do this analysis. Next time, when like we are discussing about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, we are not talking of people queuing to receive money. like what happens in Kenya and some other places. We are talking of people disagreeing in the marketplace of ideas. And that has to be the trajectory. We cannot be saying that I was influenced by this person, that's why I'm having a bad life. So sometimes these people pay us and they own us and they are free to do whatever they are doing to us. So thank you, Sana Bete, for coming here to support me. I request any person who has not subscribed my station, please subscribe so that we can grow together. I look forward to becoming one of the serious voices in the political square in Kenya and Africa and all over the world, so that we can be able to shape our nation in the right trajectory. And we cannot avoid that. We cannot avoid that to shape our nation into the right direction. So what I was trying to say or to explain is simple. Uh, in America, there is no apology of what you believe in and what you support. And I was explaining the issue of racism. Like, I do not disagree that in America we have racism. It's there, it's real, it exists. It is one of the issues which has divided that country so bad for so long. But that issue cannot be owned by one group. We cannot call it a Republican issue. We cannot call it a Democrat issue. The issue of racism is multisectoral. It evolves everywhere. Even some of the people who claim that they are not racist, the truth of the is matter, they are. Uh, they have not been able to be candid enough to bring policies which can help black people. Black people have always been marginalized. And that is why in any election, including the American election, they black people are always brought at the table with a pretext that they are going to be helped, and then their issues are swept over the rug. What, for example, uh, you always see like in America, many all groups are protected, including even the indigenous people who were killed long time ago. They have favors they get from the government. Uh, Indians sometimes they have treaties they have with the government. But the only person who seems to disappear in the middle is the black person. Because the black person has not taken himself seriously, and the black person has decided his fate to support people even without a proper agreement. So the black person will just say that I'm Democrat, and at sometimes uh, there are no feasible memorandums which have been written to get us from the issues which we have. Up to now, I do not understand the reason why our black support has not influenced end of neocolonialism. I do not understand. Like, I have not seen any black person who is interested to sit with these big powers, and we can, both Democrat and Republican Party, and we talk about neocolonialism in Africa. Because Africa lives to be suppressed forever. Africa does not benefit on anything it does. If you go to China, Chinese are benefiting from their land. Americans are benefiting from their land. But Africans are not benefiting from their land. Africans are slaves in their own continent. But, and some of these things are being perpetrated by this superpower. So why can't we have memorandums? Why can't we have treaties and agreements where some of our leaders can agree with these presidential candidates who have influence in the political stake, and they say one of our political agenda, the reason why we have to work with the black people at the time, we want to help our brothers who are in Africa to escape from neocolonialism. Neocolonialism is the worst thing which is happening in Africa. And what is neocolonialism? Neocolonialism is where you are in your own country and you control nothing. That is the problem of Africa. And for neocolonialism to continue, uh, there is even engineered elections in Africa. Why can't we have good elections like the ones which we see happening in America? When we go to Africa, things are so shambolic, and sometimes they are sponsored by people from the West. So we can actually start influencing things if black people knew their value and what they needed, we can actually start influencing things from the source. We can start having memorandums which can even help our brothers in the continent. So there is a lot, and that's why we always say elections are consequential. Elections are consequential. Like you don't go to an election um, just to cast a vote and you go home. You go to an election to vote your future. And if you have a baby or a kid who is less than 18 years, you also vote for them. When you are going to cast your vote, the concept is you are also deciding the status of their life. That is how simple it is. So your vote, I usually take vote like a hanging line, or like a bullet. You know, you can take your bullet and you shoot yourself, and tomorrow you're in your burial. Or you can take a line or a rope and you hang yourself. That is how consequential your vote is. So that is why when you go to vote for someone, it's not an emotion thing. It's not a it's not like these people have to win no matter what. It has to be analytical. It has to be pros and cons. And the pros win, and then you say, I'm voting for these people. There is no party which is an angel party. But at times in America, these parties hog. Yeah? They oscillate. Sometimes you're with this party, next time you're with this party. The election is won by this party, at least so that the country does not deteriorate too much. And based on that, you'll always be seeing like sometimes this party has won. So and if that is stands, that is one of the things which could actually put the Republican Party on the pole position in this election. Democrats are now ruling. So they are on defense. They are defending what they have been doing. So while Republicans are on the offense, they are attacking. And when you are attacking, you have actually more favorability because now people have been able to understand the administration. You are not wishing the administration which is there is not giving a wish list. They are giving the accomplishment, and then this other party is trying to give solution to that. So, and that's why you always see sometimes the party on the offense always does better. So tonight we could expect a very favorable night for Republicans even in the Senate. Though it's always competitive. It's like you not see like a difference of like 10 senators, no? Always a difference between senators from both parties. It ranges between 3 to 5. So it's like 51-49. It's like yeah. So a difference of 2 or 3. So it's usually very small because the election is very tight, and then you see the election is quite methodological. So there is a lot of stake in this election. But let's ask ourselves now, um, what will happen? Let's now, today, the election has been announced, and the election has been announced, and Donald Trump has been announced the winner. How are Republicans, no, how are Democrats going to behave? It's total frustration. Total frustration. It's actually in America, the most saddest speech is usually concession speech. It's a speech which you don't want to see the candidate because it's usually an exhaustion, a last exhaustion after 15 months of non-stop campaign. Can you imagine if it is Donald Trump who will be giving that concession speech? You have been campaigning for close to 8 years. You have been in the year. That is why election losses are very, very complex in America because of the amount of input you do, especially as a candidate. The rallies after rallies, rallies after rallies. It is not like they just uh, they're just queuing and giving people money. It is rallies and convincing. So if you like, for example, if you saw Donald Trump yesterday when he was giving his closing remark in Michigan, you could even hear his voice was handled completely calmed down. Like he was talking so slowly, so slowly. He was completely worn out. And the things which happened because, like you can imagine, within a period of 1 week, he did like 24 rallies, 24 rallies, 4 here, 3 here, 2 here. So it's extreme. It's for them, but you do it because you want to convince any regular voter, that because who you move to, you are not going to talk to him to tell him that we speak the same language. This person, so they are not voting because you are speaking. Everybody is English speaker. This person, you need other convincing principles other than and this and this. So that is the issue. That is the standard which they have put for themselves, and their democracy is quite advanced because you can see it with their conduct of the election. They are made open, regardless of the tiny issues which they always get. Their system is open, and when somebody is defeated, he goes home happy, knowing that it is my votes which were not enough. So that is what happens. So it is usually a very high polarized election. It's not just a simple election in America. Highly polarizing because people have to be divided so that now they can decide on what to do. And then there are people who are perennially Republican and perennially Democrat. Hata ukuja utapike sukari, kuna mtu ataikupigia kura. That is how America is divided. Kuna mtu hata Donald Trump aseme atashukisha mbingu, kuna mtu ataimpigia kura. There is a state which cannot vote for him because they are typically liberal and Democrat. That is how their grandfathers left them, and that's how they want to live, and they want to maintain that. The same case, kuna mtu hata Kamala Harris. That's why you never hear like ungesikia ati mtu kama Kamala Harris anaenda Missouri kupiga campaign, anaenda Arkansas kupiga campaign, huko hata aende apande miti. She will not make it. She will not for the next like 50 years, and Democrat will not make it there. So there are those states which are watertight for you, so you don't need to go there. So another advantage which like Donald Trump is now getting in this election, there is an advantage of electoral college. If Donald Trump today begins by winning the states which he won in 2020, he is beginning with the addition of 3 electoral colleges, because he won Florida. Florida electoral college shifted from 29 to 30 because of change of population. People migrated too much to Florida because many people were escaping the issues in New York and some other liberal states there. So many people migrated southwards. And also there is influx of Cuban peoples who are crossing the sea there to go to Florida. So Florida added 1 electoral college. And that electoral college which Florida got, it had to be deducted from somewhere. So in the same time, that electoral college which is going to Florida, California is losing. California lost 1. So California reduced their electoral college from 55 to 54. So that was one addition, because Florida goes red these days since Donald Trump. So Florida is swinging red. So that is 1 for Donald Trump. Pennsylvania also added 1. So Pennsylvania shifted from 19 to 20 electoral college. No, I don't think it's Pennsylvania, sorry. There are some other 2 more states which were, Texas. Texas also added 1. Texas added 1. I think Texas added 1 or 2. I will have to confirm that. So Texas shifted from 38, I think, to 40. So now, noting that Trump will again win Texas, which we hope he can win, because if Trump does not win Texas, he is cooked before start. He has to win Texas. Texas is their biggest state which you have to win as a Republican. You cannot become a president in America as a Republican if you don't win Texas. It's like for Democrats, California. So that is their baseline. So the base level for Republicans is Texas. The base level for Democrats is California. So Trump will win Texas, not he has to. Trump will win Texas if this contest has to continue. So Trump has to win Texas for the contest to continue. Kamala Harris has to win Florida. No, not Florida. Has to win California if this contest has to continue. So that is how these contests are usually played. So having said that, you continue to other states now. In 2020, Donald Trump did not get Nevada and Arizona. Hizo ziko hapa chini. Na Georgia pia ilienda. You only secured North Carolina pale, which is a bit very competitive side. But at least there's also another advantage tuliona, ama kitu tuliona mpya sana ya Donald Trump. He had more courage because actually he managed to go and campaign within the shortest time. When the uchaguzi ulikuwa imebakisha siku chache sana, Donald Trump managed to go and campaign in blue states. He was in New Mexico on Sunday, I think, Sunday or Monday. He was in New Mexico. New Mexico is a blue state. So, as a whole, you can turn it. He has also been going to New York. So, New York, again, people are not very happy there. It is believed that there are so many policies which are not working well. Of late, even the mayor of New York has been receiving so many backlash, even from the liberal media. Like there are some things that, like I think the liberal media want the New York mayor to be so lenient with some issues, crime and all, police, and then issues become catastrophic. Emmanuel Njero, karibu sana. I appreciate your coming. So that is what is happening with New York now. So New York, and that's why you are seeing a lot of immigration, people migrating, original people migrating from New York going to other states. That's why you see like Florida, people are flocking there because businesses are doing well there. And this thing started during the COVID time because like the governor of Florida was able to protect the businesses. While in New York, they were just talking of mask mandate. So those were the issues. So again, when you look like people like Elon Musk who own this world, SpaceX and what, they migrated some of their franchises and they took them to Texas. And you know, when you migrate a franchise, you also migrate people. So those are some of the issues which you have also to counter it. How are they moving? So the other thing is the issues of cultural change now, which I wanted now to handle in the next 10 minutes. Before, hi, how are you, Amurit? So the other issue, and please guys, you can continue subscribing to my channel so that I can continue building people, and you share it in your network so that people can understand what is happening. So another issue which is also key and we also need to understand is how the American culture is changing. You see, a long time ago, maybe 200 years, when they were building their nation, 1776, when those 8 men were writing the Constitution, you'll give me like 2 minutes. I take the charger before the power goes. Just 2 minutes. I take the charger. Yeah, I'm back. My power was going off. Let me put it. Sorry for that hitch. Tutaendelea vizuri. Good.